it became that tradition where every New Year's Eve, it became as traditional as any other thing you would do at New Year's Eve. You'd watch Only an Excuse and you'd watch Still Game. And the
Yeah, yeah.
Still Game episode that came on was always a rerun of the same episode. It was the one of them stuck in the lift, which
Oh, right, was
is
it?
a brilliant episode. Do you know what I mean? And it's one you can watch over and over again. But the Only an Excuse episode was always brand new, obviously, like just with the whole year of sports, football, any other pop culture things that was going on.
Yeah.
When did the BBC approach you and say, right, okay, I want this to be a yearly thing? There was the early doors where they said to you, I want you to produce a new episode every year.
What happened was this. We when would it be? I'm going to see. I think it was about 1986.
Wow.
There was a programme on BBC Scotland called Only a Game. And it was a five-part series about Scottish football. And the first two episodes were particularly good because they focused on sort of five top players, and the second was five top teams or managers. I can't quite remember, but it was written by William McIlvanney, and he had a very distinctive style in his delivery and his way of describing things, and it was ripe for mimicking.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Philip Differ, whose idea, Only an Excuse is Philip's baby. It was his idea. We used to lark about in the Tron Bar because that's where we used to record Naked Radio.
Right.
We used to record at Tron every Friday lunchtime, and I would do McIlvanney narration and stuff like that. But then Philip got the idea of maybe doing a pilot of a sort of spoof of Only a Game,
right,
called Only an Excuse. And he went to Stan Taylor, who was head of Radio Scotland at the time, and said, "Look, Stan, I've got this idea to do a spoof of Only a Game. Johnny'd be in it. I think they're asking Tony, and a few of the boys would write it. Any chance of getting the money to do a pilot?" And Stan said, "This would never happen now." Stan just said, "I tell you what, that sounds like a great idea. Just go and make the programme." And so we didn't even have a pilot. We just made the programme, and it went out about an hour before Scotland played West Germany in the '86 World Cup. And this is, obviously before social media and everything.
Of course.
But it took off like you wouldn't believe. I mean, and the Radio Clyde guys, they were sending bootleg copies down to South America. Well, that's why loads of these things were kicking about. But it had a huge impact, because nothing like it had been done before. This is before Off the Ball and all this kind of stuff. It's the first time MD had linked a coupled comedy with football, our national obsession, and it really caught on. And on the back of that, we did another radio recording prior to the '90 World Cup. There may have been a couple more in between. I'm not exactly sure the timeline, but prior to the World Cup in Italy, we did, now when would it be? It might have even been before that slightly, but we did a stage version of Only an Excuse, which was part of Mayfest, which was a festival that used to happen many years ago, and it did very, very well. And on the back of that, BBC asked for a sort of televised version of it.
Yeah.
And we were able to give them a taster of it because Philip and I, by this time, were working in a thing that Philip was producing called The Ferguson Theory, which was fronted by Craig Ferguson. And he used to do his stand-up, and I would link it with sketches, link the different speeches with sketches. And in one of the first episodes, Philip very craftily engineered it so that it was a little taster of what Only an Excuse could be like.
Right.
It was 7 minutes long. And again, that took off. Win the Roses in the Sunday Mail, nothing like that. And so they had an idea of what they were dealing with.
Right.
And then Philip was asked to produce a show that was going to go out in Hogmanay, and it went a bomb. It went an absolute bomb. Funnily enough, the head of BBC Scotland at the time didn't commission a second one.
Oh, really?
Initially. No, he didn't. But pressure was putting him to do so. So we cobbled together a second one as well.
Right.
The following year. And that was just the start of it.
Yeah.
And because it had gone down so well, each year just it fell into place.
They kind of had no choice but to get you to make another one.
Yeah. But despite the popularity of it, we only ever knew round about February, March if we were recommissioned for the following year.
Right. Okay. So you didn't have too long to.
Yeah, it wasn't as if we took it for granted. We didn't know what their plans were, and they only let us know around about springtime. So yeah.
Did you ever receive any like major backlash from other teams' fans and stuff? Like if you say you were to make a joke about someone really important and stuff, obviously you're going to get critiques here and there, but like
you do. But I mean, you can't bother about that. I mean, there's an old saying that a good joke will always hurt somebody. So
right.
You just roll with it, and we were never put off by any kind of reaction from things like that.
Yeah, I bet you probably enjoyed some of the reaction as well if you've seen some of the outrage of some people.
We always used to temper it by saying, if the person we said a joke about was to walk in the room right after we said it, how would we feel? And if we felt, that was our sort of way of judging if we'd gone too far or not.
Aye.
So, but you had to be quite thick-skinned.
Of course, different in the days. You could probably get away with more as well.
Oh, listen. Philip and I were talking about this the other day. I mean, we did a radio show that ran for about 10 years called Watson's Wind Up, and it was in the Naked Radio slot. Used to record it at Friday lunchtime. You couldn't do half the stuff now. You just couldn't do it. So there you go.
Well, my favourite impression that you did was Sir Alex Ferguson. So if you want to talk about the Godfather like Sir Alex Ferguson, then I wouldn't have an issue with that whatsoever.
No, I wouldn't do that. Don't worry.
No, I'm joking.